the whispering waters of the Black Forest. Lucas had always been drawn to the unseen. Shadows between streetlights, forgotten alleyways, the fleeting expressions of strangers. Photography was more than a hobby. It was his way of making sense of the world. But lately, his lens had captured only heartache. London, with all its restless beauty, had become unbearable after Sarah left. The city that once felt alive, with opportunity now pressed down on him, every familiar cafe, every winding street, a reminder of what he'd lost. They had spent 3 years together, building dreams out of whispered plans and late-night laughter. And then, without a warning, it was over. No grand betrayal, no explosive fight, just the slow, painful unraveling of two lives no longer moving in sync. So when Lucas stumbled across an old travel book featuring Germany's Black Forest, he made a snap decision. It wasn't just the towering fir trees or the promise of crisp mountain air that pulled him in. It was the image of Mummelsee, a lake so dark and still it looked like a mirror to another world. The capture beneath read, a place of mystery, where whispers ride the wind and the past never truly sleeps. It was exactly what he needed. Somewhere quiet, somewhere away from the noise of the city, from memories of Sarah, and from himself. With nothing but his camera, a backpack, and a mind desperate for escape, Lucas set off. He imagined the solitude would be comforting, the fresh air clearing out the aches in his chest. Maybe, in the silence of the forest, he could finally hear himself think. Maybe he could forget. But Mummelsee was just not another picturesque escape. It was a place of legend, a place where things stirred beneath the water, and soon Lucas would learn that some whispers are meant to be left unheard. The small inn where Lucas booked his stay was the kind that seemed untouched by time. Wooden beams creaked under his weight, and he stepped inside, the scent of pine and aged paper filling the air. An old cuckoo clock ticked steadily on the wall, its tiny carved bird waiting for the hour to strike. Behind the reception desk stood an elderly woman, her silver hair pulled into a neat bun. She glazed up as he entered, her sharp blue eyes studying him as if she already knew why he was there. "You're the photographer?" she asked in German, her voice calm but firm. Lucas nodded. "Yes, just passing through. I read about the lake." The woman, her name tag read Greta, sighed, sliding a heavy guest book towards him. "Please sign here." As he scribbled his name, Greta hesitated. "You should enjoy the lake from a distance, especially after dark." Lucas looked up intrigued. Why after dark?" For a moment she said nothing, her fingers brushing over the edge of the counter as if debating how much to tell him. "They say the waters are deep and restless, and that when the moon is high, the ones who sing beneath the water wake." Something in her tone made Lucas's skin prickle. "The ones who sing?" Greta shook her head. "You know, just an old tale." She pushed the key to his room across the desk. "Good night, Mr. Fisher." Her dismissal was clear. The warning had the opposite effect. Her dismissal was clear, but the warning had the opposite effect. It only made Lucas more curious. That night, as he lay in bed, the words echoed in his mind. the ones who sing beneath the water. And outside, carried by the wind, he swore he heard the faintest trace of melody. Despite Greta's warning, Lucas couldn't resist. The lake was why he had come, and the eerie beauty of it called him. Camera slung over his shoulder, he made his way down the narrow forest path, just as the last traces of sunlight bled from the sky. Mummelsee was breathtaking at night. The water was still as glass, reflecting the moon in a perfect shimmering circle. The towering fir trees loomed like a silent sentinels, their dark shapes blending with the night sky. He set up his tripod near the shoreline, adjusting the lens to capture the moonlight dancing on the surface. For a while, all he heard was the rhythmic clicking of his camera and the soft rustle of wind through the trees. Then, just as he was about to take another shot, something changed. A sound drifted across the lake, faint and melodic. A humming, soft and almost human, yet strange in a way he couldn't place. Lucas froze. His pulse quickened, and as he scanned the dark expanse of water, the sound seemed to rise and fall with a gentle lapping of the lake, as though the water itself was singing. He squinted through the viewfinder and adjusted the focus. At first, there was nothing, just the silvery glow of the moon on the water, but then, movement. Pale figures drifting just beneath the surface. Lucas' breath caught. He blinked and they were gone. Just a trick of the light? His imagination running wild? He wasn't sure. The whispering hum still lingered in the air, and for the first time since arriving, a shiver crept down his spine. The following night he went back. This time he came prepared. Alongside his camera, he brought a small digital recorder. If there was a song, he wanted to capture it, to prove to himself that it was real. He sat up in the same spot, his fingers steady despite the anticipation thrumming through his veins. The forest was quiet, the lake as still as before. Midnight came, and for a long moment nothing happened. Then the singing began. It was unlike anything he had ever heard. It was haunting and sorrowful, weaving through the air like mist. The melody wrapped around him, pulling at something deep inside him, inside his chest. It was beautiful and devastating. Lucas lifted his camera, his lens sweeping across the lake's surface, and then a face. A woman, just beneath the water. Her pale skin shimmered under the moonlight, her dark eyes locked onto his. Long flowing hair drifted around her like a halo. She didn't move, didn't blink, just watched. A chill shot through Lucas's body as he stumbled backwards, nearly dropping his camera. The song swelled, growing louder, more urgent. The woman's lips moved, but her voice didn't match the melody that filled the air. Panic surged through Lucas, and he bolted, crashing through the underbush until he reached the inn. He didn't stop until he was inside, heart hammering against his ribs. Fumbling, with shaking hands, he yanked the recorder from his pocket and hit play. Nothing. Just static. The next morning, Lucas was shaken but exhilarated. He couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen, or thought he had seen. He needed answers. Over breakfast, he struck up a conversation with Greta. She was hesitant at first, but as he pressed, her expression darkened. "They do not mean harm," she admitted, "but they are lonely, and loneliness can be dangerous." Lucas frowned. "Who?" Greta glanced towards the window where the lake shimmered in the distance. "The sirens. They lure those who listen too closely." A chill crept through Lucas. He wanted to dismiss it as superstition, but the way Greta's fingers trembled slightly as she poured her tea made him wonder. That night, Lucas returned to the lake. This time he did not run. The song came again, stronger now, more insistent. He stepped closer to the water's edge, camera in hand. Then a ripple broke the surface, and from the depths a figure emerged. A man taller than any human, clad in robes that shimmered like the water itself. His eyes were dark, endless pools. "You should not have come," the figure intoned, his voice like the shifting tide. "Now you belong to the lake." The last thing Lucas saw was the water rushing towards him. Then darkness.